Pulver report. Let's get started. It is March 1st, kicking things off. Got through leap year. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's kick things off with a little risk disclaimer. We know there's risk in trading. Please and always use trade capital only. Do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose, whether trading stocks, options, futures, forex, cryptos. You know the deal there. Pulver report. Let's get into the charts. All right. Say hi in the chat if you're out there. If you're not a subscriber to the channel and you like what you're seeing here, then obviously subscribe to the channel. Click thumbs up button, all that good stuff. Good morning, traders. Happy Friday. All right, let's get to it. Okay, we are looking at pre-market up about 60 cents on the SPY. Let's go to the futures market here momentarily. So SPY's up slightly, fractionally. We had a pretty aggressive sell-off yesterday at the close. I'm looking at the last 5 minutes on the SPY, 509.77 all the way down to 508, about $1.70 sell-off. We have gamma levels and open interest levels all over the place today. It's going to be an interesting day. I mean, Friday is typically, we could see some profit taking. We tapped some highs yesterday at that 509. We're getting into a new month. There's no non-farm payroll or anything like that. We've got the DIA up to 390, fractionally up about 5 cents pre-market. Qs 439.62, up about 62 cents. Still not crossing the highs from last week, which would be 40.59. So watching. And I'm going to look at the SPX right now. Put my little caret sign in. SPX. Levels I'll be watching on the SPX. I'll wait for opening bell to get those exact levels, but I would say, kind of contained to about a 51.25 high and around a 50.50 low today. But I did take a peek at the expirations today and the open interest today, and as you can see, it does go pretty heavily both ways. So we have some some put interest here, some call interest here, and we're trading right in the middle around 508. So we could have a market this morning that kind of jumps around where it maybe comes up here to test highs, comes to test lows, and I'm curious, how large that range is or how big that high to low window is today. Maybe a 510 test. I might same thing I did last Friday. If we start to see some resistance at 510, then maybe I look for an intraday short on 0 DTE and go after something for today's expiration. Maybe a 510 long put, see if there is a pushback down to 506, 505 area. We still have the NVIDIA gap that hasn't been touched on the SPY. Go back to the daily time frame right in here. That NVIDIA gap started with there's the close. I mean, that close is 497, but we have the low right here, this previous high sitting around 503.50 and this low around 503.02. So to the downside, 503 would be pretty nice. I have a butterfly spread that expires today with the 503 target price as well as a 502. So if we have any downward movement today, that's going to make my butterfly spread pretty nice and profitable as we come into that day of expiration. But we'll find out. So like I said, I might take a stab at maybe a 50 cent to $1 call option on the 0 DE side if I can determine some pretty solid resistance. To the upside on the SPY, I wouldn't expect price to go much higher than 513 today. And then to the downside, there's a big fat level at 505. So somehow if I can play that for the day, that'd be pretty solid. But I want to see some good price action on that first. Let's say good morning to everybody. Keeman in the house. Chris, good morning. Good morning. Nimmer, what's up, dude? How are you? David, good morning. Let's see here. Forex miner, New Zealand CAD, long swing trader. I am also long New Zealand CAD. We can talk about this. Talk about that. Ruth Ann, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Again, nice to see you. Okay, so that's the SPY. That's the Qs. That's the DIA. Let's take a look at futures really quickly. Where are we at? Japanese yen was pretty weak overnight, which was a complete opposite of yesterday. So let me go to the currency strength chart. This was yesterday. Japanese yen was pretty strong. I went through the entire basket, talked about it in Flex. I'm like, you know what? The big picture still hasn't broken yet. The yen still hasn't broken any major substantial support, no major trend lines. If it did, we're looking at some setups and small trade sizes, but it didn't. And here we are today, flipping around, and all of a sudden it's one of the weakest currency pairs. One of my favorites is going to be the weaker Swiss. This should be helping my portfolio builder account. Let me see if that is doing well today. We're back up above the high balances. I think I've got a balance there. It was a $10,000 account. The goal was that for that account to go. Um, the goal is for that account to double, and it's going to take some time. But I'm looking at current levels. I had a 10,250 balance or something like that, just in positive swap. And right now I'm trading. So the balance is 10,248, and that's swap. So I had no close trades or anything, just positive interest and rollover for the last be about 4 months. And my balance is 10,361. So we're actually sitting in some profit now, which is nice. I'll do a little spot check on that for some pips. See how we're doing. Nimmer watching the recordings. Nice. You're online today. Nice to see you, man. Long time no chat. Hope you're doing well. Denise, good morning. Jacob, good morning. So yes, little weakness in the Swiss is never a bad thing. And I am looking at got some trades running. Let me do some pips here. One of my accounts just trading primarily the Swiss basket 249 and pips plus 14 plus 156 plus 3 plus 83 plus 73 minus 25 plus 10 plus 101. I've got one account that's up 664 pips right now, letting a lot of those profits continue to run. My portfolio builder is, we're probably showing 300 to 400 pips of profit right now, but I will confirm that. I am at 102 plus 48 plus 180. That's the pound Swiss, minus 20, minus 58, plus 71, plus 25. I'm at 348 positive on portfolio builder. So here is a little Telegram update for that. I do owe the traders in portfolio builder a video. Try to sneak that out today. Portfolio builder is here. We were 63 pips earlier in the week when I posted this. That was February 28th on Wednesday. And then I'll do a portfolio builder spot check plus 348. Balance is 10,248.23 and floating P&L. We always love it when this happens. 368.23. So up some profit, up some pips. Look, if I can get my QWERTY keyboard in the right spot. Look for a video update link later today. Boom. Let me see if I have portfolio builder in. I think I do. If I don't, I can certainly get a link to it. In my Discord, I don't have portfolio builder, but there's still plenty of time to get involved with that class. We have been sitting in positions, building positions. Now, granted, I've got a head start on swap and positive carry for the last 3-4 months. But what's nice is the trades I'm taking, the positions I'm in, plenty of spots to buy higher, plenty of spots to add in and get some pullbacks and buy lower. And again, my goal on that is to double my account and show that's how I trade Forex. I like to find big positions. I like to find kind of a basket scenario if I can. Yearly pivots, big pockets, build positions, be patient, let those profit targets materialize, hit those profit targets, and big old chunks of profit. Takes time, takes patience, takes a lot of belief and conviction, but I like the style. It's not very stressful for me, and allows me to just kind of spot check things every week. That's about it. Yep, breaking the trend line. I love it too. Let's just take a look at some of these Swiss pairs, shall we? Aussie Swiss, big comeback the last couple of days, which was nice. We had that sell off, big kind of piercing line to the upside. And we are looking for, well, I'll go through the Swiss pairs, but I'm still watching this on the Aussie Swiss. Can we break that base right there? Because when it gets when it puts a smile on my face, we're going to be up here on the Aussie Swiss, and we're going to be having a conversation, above this high, and I'll be targeting this high up here, which is around 6150. I'm still looking to go higher around 6600 and long term around 7000. That's the Aussie Swiss. CAD Swiss. Again, nice little comeback this week. This one has a little bit more of a head and shoulders look to it. So if this was a crown or head and shoulders, this would be the head and shoulders look. Left shoulder, head to neckline, right shoulder. We're breaking, we're testing, we're breaking again. So I'm looking for this thing to get back up again. Challenge the highs, 6,800. We're trading at 65. So at least I like the 300 pips to the upside. And bigger picture, there's a big fat pocket back here around 7,100. You can actually see the candle in the tippy top left right there. That big pocket area is where I'm going after my CAD Swiss profit. So still have about 500 to 600 pips to run. I like that area a lot, and I'm going to stay bullish and continue to add to it. Okay, Euro Swiss. Never says we're breaking the trend line. Yes, we are. Hopefully it stays there today. That'd be nice to see the daily candle close right where it is or higher, obviously. We're coming back into this nice pocket breakout back in November of last year. And this chart alarm at 97. Now you start seeing me look at a lot more confirmation. This could put a smile on my face if we have highs right here and we breach those levels. This could be a nice head and shoulders pattern if we hit those highs, pull back to the backside of the trend line. What better technical trade could you ask for than a head and shoulders on the back of a trend line? Try to get some confirmation up here, and then any pullback test the trend line, get some left and right symmetry. Wow, that looks really good. So yeah, let's see if the daily can close above there, the weekly close above there. That would be pretty solid for sure. So let's go. Let's get after it. Pound Swiss 112. Ooh, pushing up to some new highs as well. I do have some stacked orders around 1250 and 1300, trying to get back to 1500. Traders this week with me on the pound Swiss. I said, look, I'm willing to take another trade right there, small, and then get into a second position here. So I've still been building. We added a lot of support levels back here. We were waiting for a trend line to break. I bought also at this equal low when we had a bottom. So I'm kind of all over the place with different entries, but price action wise has worked out pretty well. I have about 5 or 6 entries on the pound Swiss, and I'm stacking some orders up here to get back to 1500. So that's a profit target. And then longer term, trying to get to 1.20. Like that trade a lot. New Zealand Swiss needs a little bit more work. This was a really good break to the upside off of these lows. We had that nice cold move. Hopefully, we just stay above this level. Once we clear this high, which is around 5,500, obviously that's a what kind of pattern do you make of this? I don't see anything here that I really like, but just as simple as this. We're breaking the trend line. This is the left side. This is the right side. There's some confirmation for the bulls to kind of take things over. We clear 5,500. I'm looking for at least that move back to the highs around 6,000. So call this messiness, choppiness, whatever, but we start getting higher highs and higher lows, which we are seeing right now, by the way, right? So from this low to this higher low with that little coiled move, if we end up breaking this high, that's another higher low. You can start establishing some type of channel if it's slow going, but if we start to accelerate to the upside, that could be a pretty solid move. But again, I'm looking at 6,000 there. Notice how I skipped the Swiss yen. I'm not trading the Swiss yen. There's no positive swap, and I don't care what the yen does. Okay, dollar Swiss. We had a really boring move on the dollar Swiss, but I had a chart alarm go off overnight. I still like long dollar Swiss. We took a buy in it this week on the dollar basket, and currency strength chart right now is kind of jumbled at the top here. Swiss yen on the weaker side, CAD a little bit softer. Everything else is kind of jumbled there at the top. But I did take a small basket trade on the dollar basket, dollar index based move, and it is cooperating. So that's good. That's a little bit more conviction than I had earlier this week because we've been dealing with a lot of noise on the dollar index. But guess what happened? No chart alarm went off this week. If you checked out the session on Monday, I had a chart alarm set above this high, below this low, and it stayed right there. So no real clear direction on the dollar. We have non-farm payroll next week on Friday. Then we come out with CPI and PPI. Then we have the Fed rate decision. There's a lot for the market to digest in the next couple of weeks. Plus, we're in a new month. So clean slate, I guess. We'll see what the dollar index does. I did get some dollar basket deployments. I'm going for strength right now, at least in the near term on the dollar index to see if this posture maintains. Okay. How would you trade Google, which had 70 billion in losses? Well, it's Google, so all I'm looking at is a dip to buy. So how I'm trading it right now, that's a good question there, John. I've got some credit spreads in. I've got a 130 by 120 and a 125 by 120. So this is out to an April 19th expiration. So as long as Google, um, at least kind of holds this area here, or breaks a trend line, then I'm looking for Google just to stay out of the way, and I'll keep my credit spreads and just make a few bucks. So I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not shorting it. All I did was took an earnings trade on Google and made some money there. So we did an earnings play, and then when it broke lower, we made, I don't know, $5 or $6 credit there. So not too bad. We go. Nope, it's an open bill yet. So anyway, I'm just doing out of the money bull put spreads for right now. I'm waiting. Uh, we're sitting here. I mean, what's interesting is we've had some stocks. We've had the indexes break all time highs. Google up here, pausing at the top, and currently not enjoying the upper runs. Like we had a break in Nvidia, obviously, that went gangbusters to the upside. We've had Meta that's at all time highs. Meta, in fact, Meta and Nvidia last year and currently running this year, two best performing stocks in the S&P. So pretty big stuff. Google, yeah, I mean Apple, Google underperforming right now. I think Google is still a safe play as far as long term. This AI trend is probably not going to change much, and Google's going to be out there somewhere. I mean it's a huge company, but yeah, I'm just staying out of the way. I mean, I'll say this: if Google ever came back down to these lows again at 90 bucks, I'll load up, but if I can keep it, if the broader market is still going to go higher, I mean, you could put a bunch of moving averages on here and I can use this chart, and we're probably hitting some moving averages. So if we go to Google here, so I have a 50 SMA or EMA rather, that's a 50, that's a 144, that's a 200. If we just pull back to the 50, that's 131. So if the trend is intact, which is what we have seen here, right? I mean, 50 and the 200, that's your common moves in the stock market for those industry accepted, moving averages. So let's say we come in and tap the 50 and the trend remains, we close below, close above, there's a chance to go revisit the high with a tight stop, right? Could we come down and tap the yearly pivot? Yeah, maybe. That's 125 to 130. Got a 122 right there. But I'm just trading with credit spreads. That's all. Not complicated. Let's see here. Futures market for the morning. Let's have a look. Got some government shutdown stuff happening in the background, averted. Futures market looks pretty jumpy. 0.08 to the downside in the Dow futures. S&P flat. Just recently sold off to flatten out. NASDAQ futures flat. So again, I'll be looking for in the first 15 minutes, I'll be checking the volume to see where we're at. If we're above, if we're at 5.5, 6 million, I'm gonna look for some decent volatility today, and then I'll just follow some price action. Gold is at 2061, up $6 to the ounce. Silver 2286. Crude oil 79. No wonder I'm seeing more expensive gas at the pump. Oh baby, oil is getting up there. Okay, so it continues to slowly. We had a lot of volatility from the 71, 72 zone, and then pushing up towards 80, and then pulled back violently. But we are making some fresh highs on oil again. I like the channel structure. I like the support. If you're looking for something to trade, I am trading USO. I'm trading some oil futures. All I'm doing is some out of the money bull put spreads. In fact, let me go into crude oil. Light sweet crude oil futures. Let me take a look at this. So if I went out to, let's see, let's go about 45 days out. Expected move 586. Let me see what I can get here for some of these bull put spreads. So CL is my ticker. And we're trading at 79. If I went out of the money here, 72 would be awesome. I can probably go into the low 70s. Let me see what this would pay. So if I did some sweet crude, oh yeah, I like this a lot. I could go like a 15 delta. Let me see here. 70.5 by 70. That's not offering me the premium that I want. Maybe technically the lows here. So that low is 72. See if I can tighten up that number a little bit. So 72. That's not very good. 8 cents, 72 by 71.50. 10 cents on a. Ugh. I mean, it's out of the way, but that's a 20 delta. I'd like that 15 or 10 delta, and I just don't get enough premium if I do that. So a 15 delta here, 7 cents on the dollar. That's pretty rough. Well, maybe it's not though. I get 70 bucks, risking 430. That's way out of the way. I could probably do a 71 by 70, get 160 bucks for 850 risk. I could tighten that up there, 70 for 430. Is that less or more? So that's 850, and that would be 840. So I could do 150 versus 160. I'm going to take this trade. I'm going to do two contracts. I'll do two contracts on crude oil futures, 71 by 70.50. Collect 160 bucks on this one for a bull put spread. Stay out of the way. Go out to April 17th and see if we just have a slight uptrend. I mean, I'm looking for oil to continue up towards 90 bucks or so. It's going to be, obviously we know if energy prices are going up, oil prices going up, the Fed's going to be paying attention and possibly making some adjustments, or at least in their narrative, because that's going to be something that people are watching and feeling every day at the pump, right? So anyway, I like this trade, 71 by 70.50. I'm going to go after it. So that's a 7 8 cents credit. See if I can grab that right there. So this is a futures contract, so this should be good. And let me make sure this is the correct account. There we go. And filled. You turds, you filled me at 7. Mother. All right, no big deal. Let me get to my. Oops. All right. So when I take trades, I got to track trades. So let me put that in here. And that is CL. That's a 417 expiration. 71 by 70.50 for 0.07 credit. It's two contracts, 160 for 840. Okay, and I will take that fill. There's the trade right there. Place a similar order. Switch up the old account here. This one's got some buying power. 9732. Okay. 9732. Can I get 8 cents? Do I hear 8? 9732. Oh, come on. This account's got to be all right. I need to get some futures approval there. Let's try this one. This one should be good, hopefully. Try this one here. Try to get 8 cents. Pending. I think pending, right? Oh, dang it. Come on, peeps. All right, well, I guess that does it. So I need some futures approval. No big deal. All right, well, we got one in. That's what I wanted, but we'll do this. All right, seeing some LTAs clearing, which is good. Anyway, we got a trade in on oil futures. I'll be tracking that. I like it, and that is a 71 by 70.50. And the expiration was kind of weird. 417 expiration. Okay, so I like that. Gold and silver. Gold at 20.55. I do have a bear call spread running on gold. Positions. Let me check these right here. So I've got some GLDs. I've got a 200 by 205. That's a bear call spread on GLD. So we're trading up to 2056 on XAU. If I go GLD, and trade the ETF. We're up to 190. 200 plus is way up here. So we'd have to break all-time highs on GLD, which means to me that, XAU is going to have to breach this 2070, possibly even 2100 zone for that to be in threat. So I'm going to see if oil just, or not oil, like gold stays just kind of range bound. Silver, gold is certainly outperforming silver at this time. I still like buying silver off the lows. If you're looking at a tight stop area right down here, looking to see if we can get back to range levels. We break above 26. I love silver to the upside if we get above 26. I had a conversation this week with Equities on Demand in the trading room on Alibaba, which is trading at, I've got some expirations here. I closed out for a partial loss on today's expiration. I still have next week's out to 77. We're trading up about 60 cents pre-market. We are flirting with the right-hand side of the trend line. It could be a little head and shoulders trade right here. Okay, so a little head and shoulders on the daily. If we end up getting above this levels around 80 bucks, like let's go. There's a pocket back here and a gap to fill. I also am looking at this as a potential double bottom to get way more involved with probably some debit spreads, bull put spreads, long calls, something synthetic, so I don't have to tie up a bunch of buying power. But I'd be looking to go long as low as possible. But maybe this is the low. We get above 80. I'll get that confirmation. And I'm curious how that translates between Baba and Baidu, which had earnings this week, and it's down from a 113, 114 high. Yeah, 114 last week into this week's being 101. Took a small loss in this one as well. Have some credit spreads that I'm probably going to take some haircuts on, which is annoying. So yesterday I just looked at this, said, okay, clearly I've been a little bit anticipatory. I still like the trade. I still like the structure, but I'm hoping at this point, I'm hoping it cooperates and comes back down to this level around 80 bucks. I won't get involved too early, although $100 makes sense to me. I would love to see if this thing can just stay. Once we get some clearance, way more aggressive up there with some confirmation. If we get a chance to buy it or get long around 80, I would love to position for that as well. So a couple stocks I'm watching right there. Lucid on its way down, break even at 6. Is there any chance the stock will make it? I don't know, dude. You're barking up the wrong tree for those electric vehicle stuff. No thanks. They are down like most of the EV stocks are down like 90+%, right? So, um, it's certainly possible, right? I mean, if you give it a chance, I mean, here's how it happens, right? Lucid is a pretty good candidate for a buyout. I'm trying to think. Lucid has like a pretty fancy sports car, yeah. Like they're 150,000 cars. They're awesome. Um, but I don't know if that needs to be a buyout. I don't know if that needs to be a merger. I don't know if that needs to, that's what I thought going into like all the hype in EVs and all the hype in all these electric vehicles, your ride shares or Lordstown Motors and Workhorse and Rivian, for example. I mean, Rivian loses like $40,000 per vehicle. I mean, it's like they're being crushed. I mean, even Tesla at a 60 plus $1,000 car is now 30 some $1,000s. I mean, Tesla's prices have dropped so much, which just crushed the stock. And it's essentially being excluded from the Mag 7 now. But do I think that, Lucid can float around and, I don't know, oscillate between a couple bucks? And I mean, that high right there is $4. I mean, you could certainly get a squeeze. I'm not saying you couldn't. I would just be, I don't know, man. I'd be careful on loading up heavy. Break even at 6. The way to play it if you've got the capital is look at some more shares right there, and if it gives you a squeeze in any way, shape, or form, I mean, I don't know. I mean, break even's a possibility, but I wouldn't want to tie up a bunch of capital if you don't have to. So yes, big amount. I was betting on. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So I don't know. I'd sit and let it ride. I mean, you can see on my charts, I'm waiting for the trend line to break. If it does, and we've got some bullish permission on $4 higher, then sure. I mean, there's your 527. I mean, six seems like a bit of a stretch, but you look left on the chart, that low is at 6. So I think break even is possible. If this, I don't know, if this forms some type of wedge and it's a falling wedge, then that would be the target right up there, which is around $8. But I think a lot of good stuff is going to have to happen for that to squeeze. Unless there's just like insane amounts of short interest, I don't think there is. I think they're not making money. That's the reality. It's like these EV companies came out hot, but like rental car companies are selling their fleets. People aren't as interested in buying them anymore. Your major automakers are going back to gas vehicles for a while. Obviously, that could change when oil goes up to $90 a barrel. So anyway, it is opening bell. Let's take a look at some levels. So we're at 509 on the SPY. Like I said, to the upside, I'd say 513 caps the upside. 505 to the downside. I'll be watching. I'm going to see if I get something here. Maybe I put on a trade over the weekend and the next week. See what that looks like. I might do it on both sides. Equities on demand trade. Let me see if am I doing a 10 o'clock session with A1 trading today? I am. So I'm going to type this in my Discord. So live schedule. Let me do this. So now that it's confirmed, and then 10 a.m. Live session on YouTube with A1 Trading. I'm taking over their session at 10, and then 11 a.m. will be live session. Live session with equities on demand in the Smart Trader trading rooms, and then 1 p.m. Eastern time, live session with Hypertrend, my full auto trend system. Okay. So I'm going to update that for my post this morning. I wasn't sure. I had a feeling I was going on. If I'm able to make it come on the show today at 10, yes, I will be there, Chandler. Thank you so much. Reply. I'll be there. Coolio. I'm not in a rush. I can wait. Stop loss is 0. There you go. Well, because it's a stock, that's a good stop loss, right? And it could be worse. You could be in a much heavier position, much heavier drawdown. But I mean, if you look at some of the technicals here, we're probably getting some crazy overextended conditions on Lucid. But you know the deal. I've seen you get out of way worse. I'll say that. Nikkei at 40,000. Yep, Nikkei just keeps grinding higher, man. It's impressive. Look at this run. I mean, this year has just smashed it to the upside. The Nikkei is up 18.24% out of the gates this year. That is triple the S&P. That is impressive, impressive, impressive. And it only took 34 years, ladies and gentlemen, to get out. I just listened to a bunch of podcasts last night. Finally got myself some time to go to the gym. I had a nice little 2.5-hour session. Maybe I'll fall asleep today during the live session. But no, a podcast was talking about the Nikkei 225 and just how do you summarize a 34-year drawdown? Well, diversification is probably the best answer, right? Like if you're all in, I mean, look, if you're all in U.S. stocks, and what's crazy is there was a chart. I don't know if I took a picture of this. Let me see if I took a picture. The concentration from other stocks in other countries, it's way higher in other countries than it is in the U.S. So I mean, everyone's kind of freaking out that now the top 10 stocks have a concentration of 32% in the S&P, which is a big deal. But the other countries were way, way higher, and I'm gonna look for that right now if I can find it. There it is. I have it right here. Why is that zoomed in all weird? Okay. So, where's it at? All right. So the concentration in the USA, this is the top 10 holdings. All right. USA is 32%. Japan's only 26%. But that's probably the reshift after having the crazy high concentration way back here in 1989. India 37%, China 42%, Canada 43%. And it's higher from there. I mean, you go to Ireland to 80% weighted with top 10. Crazy. UK is 49%, Saudi Arabia 56%. So, 32% is getting up there, I guess, for the US because it's highest on record for us. Also, read an interesting article. I posted that in Discord on Ray Dalio on Are We in a Bubble? And some of his bubble indicators are showing we're not quite in a bubble like we had back in 99 or had back in 2007, 2008. But We definitely have an overextended move. I think a technical pullback is due, but the Nikkei just keeps plugging away. Just kind of classic bull flag structure and another bull flag. And hey, what do you know? It's moving just like the Japanese yen. Japanese yen's weak and it's bull flag after bull flag. So anyway, good stuff. All right, so we're at 509. Like it says, some of those open interest levels sitting up around. I've got 50. I've got 510 strikes, 511. I don't think we're going much higher. If we stretch up to like 511, 512 today, I'm probably going to take a stab at that to short it and maybe do a Monday expiration. Again, it's a risk. I could be dead wrong and it could just stay there all week. But I also might look at a trade where I do a little bit of a diagonal spread going into next Friday, the 8th, and the 11th. So we'll talk about that on Equities on Demand. We spent some time this week discussing a different strategy that I'm brushing up on and trying to figure it out, but it's looking pretty good. All right. If you have any charts, any questions, any concerns, chat them up, and just keep grinding away a little bit for some currencies. Not much has changed in some of my directions. I'm still long Aussie CAD, long Aussie Swiss, yen. There's your turning point. I don't like the trend line break. I've got it better on my smart trader charts here. Let me show you. If I go my other workspace here. So my trading room and the flex room, we did move the stop loss a little bit lower, and I'm certainly happy that we did. We're right back to profit now. So we made an executive decision yesterday in class to move the stop loss from 149.50 all the way down to 149 or 148, just below this 149 handle. And that accommodated that spike, and we're back up, looking like we have a trend continuation on the Aussie or the dollar yen. So that's good. Aussie Swiss were good. Aussie yen, take a look at this one. I would like to see, there's a couple ways to play this. If we go red and stay red, that's okay, but I'm looking for this to go back to green. I get some confirmation to go green, just follow the trend on Aussie yen. The bears would have to break way down here for me to be more convinced and take a stab at the downside, looking for JPY strength. Carry trade environment's probably not unraveling anytime soon, so watch your butts. Aussie New Zealand didn't get stopped out. Still waiting. 106.25, 106.50 entries just hanging out right now. This goes sideways. If this is a break, a pause, looking to see if we just go sideways, and then if we break and go lower, that's a trade that I'm after on the Aussie New Zealand. Aussie dollar, I am short on the Aussie dollar. Sold at 64.94. It's break even. CAD Swiss, I'm long. CAD yen, no trade. But I said watch this resistance right here to bounce. It bounced right off of it. Doesn't mean I want to buy it at new highs, but there's a chance to buy the dip if we see up here. By the way, I'm gonna check volume at 9:45 and see what we're looking at. Let me see if I can get a volume. Add study volume. Okay. So we're at 1.8 million right now. I'm going to check and see what we have for the first 15 minutes of the day. So 15 minutes, let's check my volume. Real time, we're sitting around 3.5 million coming out of the gates. So I'm just going to test a little correlation that I am watching. Man, we had a big volume spike yesterday on that sell off of the last 15-minute candle. So 3.5 million. If we get above like 5.5 to 6, we're gonna have some decent movement likely on the day. Just a good correlation with high volume at the open for the first 15 minutes typically correlates into high volume throughout the rest of the day. So I'm gonna be watching that. Okay, that's yen crosses. Thanks, Donna. Good morning. Per usual. Let me just communicate this in Telegram really quickly for Equities on Demand. EOD session will be live at 11 a.m. Eastern time in the Smart Trader EOD room. Okay, a lot of you are already here watching anyway, so I'll do a session at 10 o'clock with A1 Trading and then jump over into the Smart Trader for our stocks and options and chatting about today. Cool. Let's see here. Euro Aussie. We're still long on Euro Aussie. I wanted to take profit. If we get back to these highs at 66.90, almost 6,700, I'm going to take some profit. Euro Swiss looking a lot better to the upside. This is the trend line I wanted to see break. Open space is looking pretty promising. Euro pound still have broken out. I'm going to give it a chance though. We get Euro pound up into this area. I'm giving it a chance to go long. Stop loss probably below a fractal low. Not expecting much on this one outside of like an 80, let's say 87 or 85.75 up to 87 and change, maybe 125 pips or so. Euro yen had the pullback yesterday. It's this actually looks like a pretty good buying opportunity. Again, doesn't have to be crazy, but if you're buying green, stop loss below, target the highs. Try to go after a little trade there. If it blows it off, as the Nikkei continues to gain steam and continues to surprise the upside, it is overbought right now on a bunch of time frames. Doesn't mean that it can't stretch and go higher until it snaps. Beware of the Ides of March, as they say. So there could be some pauses and pullbacks coming in the next few weeks. So we'll be careful. But anyway, Euro yen. If the Nikkei is going to get weaker, the yen's probably going to stay weaker as well. The Euro New Zealand, we are is trade right here. Bought it at 73 or 77.38. Just kind of hanging on to that trade right now, up about 30 pips. Euro dollar took a sell trade at 108.25. We are currently up around 15 to 20 pips. Pound Aussie took a buy trade. We're probably up a little bit, maybe 40, 50 pips from where we bought it. Pound CAD, no trade right now. We're going to look for this confirmation to either break this trend line. Bears need to break the trend line, or look for either. I mean, we could potentially have a breakout, but with oil posturing the way that it is, I'd rather see this thing break lower. We have a nice yearly pivot at 67, and then a missed yearly pivot all the way down to 1.60. But I'm going to look to see if the structure cooperates to the downside. So I'd ideally like to sell the pound CAD. Pound Swiss, I'm long. That's doing pretty well, doing really well actually. Pound yen, be careful. Pound New Zealand, we had a trade at 204.60, and we had about 300 pips of opportunity here. I closed out for 100 before the RBNZ news, but I bought it again yesterday, looking for a couple of entries with a swing below that 204. So I'm backing on Euro New Zealand, backing on pound New Zealand to the upside. I sold the pound dollar. I'm long New Zealand CAD. Whoever asked me early in the morning, New Zealand CAD, I'm still long. All I'm looking for in New Zealand CAD is we've broken this bigger trend line. Okay. I'm looking for New Zealand CAD to do this. If it's a little sideways right now, that's okay. If it's a little sideways, this way, that's okay. So I'm looking for a range trade where maybe we get a chance to buy, and then I'm looking for it to trend higher, hopefully. Okay. Not a currency pair that likes to trend, but I think it's postured for upside, and I'm long. 3.8. So I'm not getting the number that I'm looking for literally like 5 to 6 million in the first 15 minutes for SPY volume. We're sitting at 3.8 right now. So this could be a quiet day overall, which means I'm probably not going to look for a 0 DTE trade if we have low volume. I'm looking to see if the floaters can take it up into like the 511, 512. Then I'll probably short it from there. We'll talk about some more setups there in equities on demand. On Swiss, I'm long. New Zealand yen, no trade. New Zealand dollar, I'm short. Dollar CAD, we took some profit this week. Closed out for 116 pips. Dollar Swiss, I'm long to pretty much infinity. Kidding. I'd like to take it up to like 96 or 1.00. And then dollar yen, because we moved with a stop loss, good thing we did. We're back up into break even or better. So hopefully that cooperates there. Okay. I'm going to let you go for today. Get a little breather in. I'd like to grab some freaking coffee. It's been a long week, man. 6:30 to 9:30. Those 14, 15-hour days get pretty long. So I'm glad it's Friday. Nice to see everybody today. Come back at 10 o'clock. I'm going to take a small break. I'll be on at 10 o'clock. If you want to jump in, just come back into my YouTube session, youtube.com/Chris Pulver. And I'm going to piggyback off with the team at A1 Trading, and then Equities on Demand at 11 o'clock in the Smart Trader trading rooms. Okay. So you want to stick around and join me? I'll be back in 15 minutes. Bye.